Another episode at the Grey Matter, and today we have a person who is the lighthouse for many people. She's coached thousands of people, hosted thousands of events. She's been part of the YPO San Francisco and beyond. She started all the way from West, and she's reached the East Coast of New York. We met her last week and we invited her over at the Grey Matter. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Stephanie Thoma.
All right, hello. Thanks for having me. I'm
Welcome to the show.
excited. I'm excited to dive in here.
Thank you. She's given us an interesting book that she wrote, and I believe this is her second book.
That is the first one.
That's the first one, but
Yeah.
there is a second one also.
There's
right?
a second one. It's a memoir. So it gives a little backstory to this one.
All right, so it's like a sequel to the prequel.
Yes.
So this is the book came first, and the second book actually came
gives
afterward, but
backstory,
it gives
yes.
the backstory of the first one. So a person who bought the second one will then have to buy the first one because now they know the backstory of this
Well,
one.
right. It's like, how does someone become a confident introvert? Maybe they grow up in an environment where they're not really fitting in, and they become a little bit smaller at first, and then they decide, well, what would it be like if I put myself out there a little more? And it's a little more.
So
It's a little
what happened? Some new thoughts came after this, or it was a pre-plan that, you will do this first and do that later?
I've been taking life one book at a time. So this book, I wrote this in, Q4 2019. And I got this idea, well, what if I wrote a book? Oh, maybe one day, or actually, how about now?
Okay.
I think I can carve out time now. So I drafted the first draft in 6 weeks. And
COVID came.
well, the catalyst for this, I know, can you imagine? I had a Vipassana retreat. I was kind of going into a hibernation, anticipating a really big 2020, like many of us were, out there and, speaking tour and all of this. So yeah, I drafted the book, and then I did my silent Vipassana meditation retreat over the holidays into January. And then, within a few months, COVID happens, and the book, it was supposed to come out in March, came out in June. And yeah, the book launch was a little different. So friends got together and there was drone delivery in Dolores Park. So it was actually kind of
Technology
fun.
in play.
Yes, I mean, in San Francisco, that's what you do, So
You improvise and you bring technology everywhere, even when it's not necessary, right?
no, it was kind of slow. It was a little bit janky, but it got, people would raise their hands. Okay, you got a pre-order, and they would just kind of wait for the drone to come by. So it was funny. It brought some levity to the whole situation.
But it's a good story, right?
I think so.
A book delivered by drones during pandemic.
Yes.
And which was about confident introverts, right? Many people just turned introverts because they were chained, they were bound within the confines of their homes, could not go out, right? Masks and all those curfews where you could not step out. And this book, especially about networking at events and beyond, it was a challenge for even this book to make its mark in a way, right?
During that time, well, that's why, kind of at the last
It
minute,
became
I
more
added
relevant.
Well, I added a section about networking remotely. So I actually adjusted. I had some keynotes on the books, and I adjusted to be networking remotely instead of networking for introverts. That was my keynote that I would give. Now I give a talk on networking with confidence, connect at conferences, a little less specific to personality types. But yeah, I wanted to act in good faith and not necessarily give people skills during that time that was all about connecting in person if we weren't really doing that. So I tried to instead give people the tools and tips to be, let's say, at a virtual event and leverage that chat and invite people into connecting on LinkedIn and having a one-on-one virtual coffee and things like that.
So before we dive further into the book, take us a few years back. What was the tipping point for you to become a coach? And what was it that you did before? Was this your first career choice, or did you start somewhere else and then ended up over here? How's the journey been?
I was always inspired by my aunt, who is a banking executive, and I would visit her in downtown San Francisco. She was wearing the skirt suit, and she introduced me to kombucha, and like back when GT's was brand new in the 90s, and I just thought, wow, I think I want this life that she has.
With kombuchas, yeah?
I mean, yes, with kombucha too. And so I decided that, okay, I want to be in downtown San Francisco, maybe not doing exactly what she's doing, but something. And then I ended up getting, after a few odd jobs here and there, graduating from college, getting an internship at the George Lucas Educational Foundation, then finally getting the downtown San Francisco job. And being there and, enjoying it for what it was, but I was certainly the person that was always wearing the brightest colors and just really excited to be there, doing my work, but also having ideas for, but wait, what if we did this? Or how about that? And being told to stay in my lane. And, okay, those ideas, they're ideas,
like but
we just want you to press that button and do this over and over.
Repetitive, boring.
I mean, yeah.
You were in a box.
I refer to that as a JD. You have a job description. Mm-hmm. You cannot do otherwise.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so then I ended up actually being laid off. The position was conveniently eliminated. So
they conveniently eliminated the position for star performers, right?
I mean,
and they wanted a robot to just press
people
buttons.
make their choices, right? So, and actually that was a pivotal point, not only because, I lost the job in January of 2016, and at the same time, the place that I was living, my apartment in San Francisco, I had a situation with my roommate, she did not get along with the landlord, and then I also had to vacate where I was living. So it was such a leap of faith that, okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and find a new place. And then actually that place I ended up living for 5 years and hosting dozens upon dozens of gatherings in the backyard and building out, writing my book from that apartment. And, so many things happened because I took a leap of faith and decided, no, I still want that dream, but it's going to look different. Maybe it's not going to be someone validating me and what I'm capable of doing. So my very first role after that was doing nightlife market research.
Okay.
Right.
And from there, then I started being contracted by a variety of companies, sourcing people for niche studies. So, examples of people that I was needing to find and also get to participate in these high-end studies would be Catholic priests, would be Republicans in San Francisco, which can be like a needle in a haystack. Just a variety of, new mothers that only had one child in between 3 and 6 months old. Okay, so I got really creative with the places that I went and talking with people and needing to build that trust really quickly and feeling really good that, I have this study that will pay you a lot in a short amount of time. And some people, of course, they don't believe it. Too good to be true. But actually, no, there's a lot of good stuff in that market research world. And from there, started hosting gatherings and events, had a great outdoor backyard space in San Francisco, which isn't that common. And it's almost like looking in reverse. I sat down in Q4 of 2019 to write this book, and I realized, I guess I have hosted over 1,000 events. Okay. If we include all of the events that I was assisting with TEDx behind the scenes for 7 years and YPOSF, all of the happy hours and then all of the gatherings, large and small, I was like, this is what it adds up to. And then when it came down to some of the concepts that I'm sure we'll go into a little later of how I personally went from someone who was not invited to the parties, first of all, but whenever I was at a gathering, especially being very young, I didn't have social confidence. I would look around the room and kind of think, okay, oh great, those people are hitting it off, and I'm here. And you know what? I told myself, it's fine. I'm good on my own.
So that was the introvert part.
That was the introvert part, and also I think
and the patience part, that your time will come. You'll find seeing them doing stuff.
I had this thought that things were going to get better. Like, I don't know who else can relate to growing up and being like, ooh, this is a little rocky. Like, let's see. I think that life can be better than what this is. So,
Always.
right?
Always the case.
Yeah, and then getting to a place of reverse engineering what I learned. So to take the pressure off of this book, because some people, they don't write the book because they're like, oh, I want to be known for something. What's the one thing? But to have a more fluid outlook and to say, okay, this is what I know really well right now. It's very fresh right now. So that's what I was writing about.
Interesting. I was just skimming through while we were setting up, and I came through a concept. It was something to do with a sandwich.
Oh, yes. Don't worry, it's carb-free. It's called a Solitude Sandwich, and this concept came to me actually during a Q&A at a Networking for Introverts workshop, where this person asked me during Q&A, hey, so why are you giving a workshop on introversion when you are so obviously an extrovert? So that question is like a call out. So,
Well, I don't have to be sick to be a doctor, right? I have to be healthy to be a doctor.
Well, no, but here's the thing. I answered his question with a question, and I asked, well, what do you think I was doing before this? And he said, were you at a dinner with friends? I said, no, I was reading in the lobby for about a good hour. And then I asked, what do you think I'm going to be doing after this? And he said, an after party. Oh no, after this Q&A, that's when I head home. That's when I do some reading, meditation, and call it a night. And what that participant of that workshop actually helped me create was a solitude sandwich, where we have 2 pieces of solitude on either end of the main activity. And that activity can be being present at a networking event, or it could be public speaking. So,
Anything that takes up energy, right?
Yes, because one of the things that people say is, especially nowadays, oh my gosh, I was doing so great. I was at this event, mixing, mingling, and then I hit the wall and I had to go home right away. There was no warning. My energy just zapped.
Yeah.
So sometimes...
And that's what happened the other day when I could not speak to Stephanie.
Yeah.
I had a wall.
Yeah. You needed a solitude sandwich.
I needed a solitude sandwich without carbs.
Right.
She spoke about networking. You obviously do a lot of networking. So I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to ask Stephanie a question, and you have to analyze with your experience of, user research and the whole book where you have your concepts about the solitude sandwich. I know this guy, he networks on an average of 5 hours a day in person. He networks 2 hours online, on text, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn. Where's his sandwich?
Wait, is this you?
Yeah, that's me. That's pretty much me.
It's like, hold on. Are you having any solitude on either end? Or, I find when people are invigorated by what they're doing and they feel like, oh my gosh, this is a part of my life purpose, then sometimes it can give you energy. So I'm curious about how you navigate that.
So basically, I believe that there are personality types, and we as humans have very little control over it. We should be identifying that personality type so that we can identify purpose. And I think every individual has a very different purpose.
No, so you're saying that you don't need any moment of solitude, you can just keep going on the way you do?
I think my energy and my wiring is designed like that. So yes, I need, but when I'm physically tired. But I can see that when I'm doing good conversations with good, ambitious, positive people, it just keep going on.
Stephanie.
Well, now I'm curious, how many hours a night do you sleep on average?
Yes, good question. So, I tell this to my friends that I do not compromise on 8 hours of my beauty sleep.
Good. Okay.
So 8 hours, no compromise on 8 hours, and rest is, that's what I enjoy doing. Networking, meeting, exploring. For me, when I was not doing a lot of networking, I was aging fast. But now when I'm exploring more people, exploring more ideas, concepts, places, I think I keep my mind more fresh.
Yeah, especially having these conversations, very meta right now because we're in the conversation. But yeah. I can see that people that have social ties live longer, feel more vitality. And my concepts of, for example, having a solitude sandwich, I am hesitant to say this is something that everyone should do because everyone is different and everyone has different needs.
Yes.
And, let's say it's possible that you take downtime in an untraditional way It could be your walk to and from the subway here in New York.
Yes.
So I would even be curious about what form that could take, even if they're little snippets here and there.
Yes. So basically, even in a very formal business conversation, I can talk about wildlife. I can talk about nature. I can talk about a sunset while walking. I can take a break to a hike on a weekday. So I get my breaks, but when it's interesting conversation and new learnings and new people, especially people with positive energy coming my way, I just don't stop. But yes, I take those breaks while a subway walk, or we take an ice cream break, and we take
we
that's
generally
a fun
take an ice
break.
cream break almost every
Where
day.
do you go? What's the favorite place?
Welchie.
Welch?
Venchi from
Venchi.
Venchi,
I had a sample of chocolate there, but I was so full. I need to go back.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
After
I would like to,
recording.
add, because networking is what I do most of my life, and I'm really admired this table of content, and the way she has like structured is basically very natural to networking regarding energy, regarding identifying your personality and others' personality.
Yeah.
That's what we keep doing, and it's a very natural flow for me as well. Good job.
Thank you.
You speak about networking. One part of what you do is personal coaching, right? Do you think people can be coached?
So, okay, this brings up something. Some people say, oh, there are some people that just aren't coachable. I don't think that's true. I think that not everyone is meant to be coached by the same person. So let's say there's one person, and to someone, there's a client out there, and it's like, oh, they're not coachable. Not in general, but for that person. There needs to be an openness and a willingness to be coached. And I will say, kind of going back to your earlier question, I wasn't born thinking, oh, I want to be a coach. I was, the eldest sister in a large family, and I typically had a lot of ideas, and I would say them whether people wanted to hear them or not. So it's convenient, though, that now.
And how many siblings you were coaching?
I mean, I wasn't coaching them, but I have 4 siblings.
So, you as an elder, you were coaching basically, subconsciously maybe.
I guess so, but actually something, if anyone listening has ever been accused of being bossy growing up, or, whatever, I know in my household I was, but then at school I was super quiet, so I had that dichotomy going on. But what's been such a game changer in adulthood is getting in the practice of asking, would you like an opinion on this? Would you like my opinion on this? Because if someone doesn't have an enthusiastic, oh yes, I would like to hear what you think, then it actually is better for everyone to just be the observer in that situation.
Yeah.
So we spoke about when I asked you that question, that how do you know if somebody's coachable, right? And you mentioned that it could be a person who could be coachable by someone else, and not one person can coach every kind of person. My other question, which I would follow up, is how did you get into coaching?
Yes. Okay. So this even goes back to your first question a bit, how if you find yourself drawn to someone in the personal, professional development space, and it's not super logical, but they embody something that either is possible for yourself or you wish was possible, that's a sign that that's the right coach for you. So in my own experience, I have this memory of being at the NASDAQ Center in San Francisco and seeing this woman on stage. She was talking about sales, but she was wearing feather earrings and, a classy long dress. And just the way that she was speaking, there was something about the way that she was and the fact that she was public speaking. It was one of the first times when I could almost see myself in her. And I ended up enrolling in a group coaching program with her shortly after. So yeah, when it comes to coaching, certainly there are people that I meet that I think, oh, I could possibly help this person, but it really needs to come from them. And so I typically, when I'm at a networking event, I talk about what I do, and I trust that the people that I'm meant to serve, they're going to self-select. They're going to come to me because they know what I do.
You shine so bright that they cannot miss you, basically. That's what you do.
I mean, that could be something. I mean, managing energy is so crucial for letting yourself shine and being very selective about what you intake. So, for example, I don't watch horror films, scary movies, and things like that.
That's fiction, right? But what about reality? In reality, there are so many negative things around us. How do you filter those out?
So it's a combination of honing a tolerance for owning your energy and not being reactive to external stimuli in your environment. But also removing yourself from unhealthy situations. Some people who are on a personal growth journey think, oh, wow, this person's really teaching me about my childhood trauma. I guess I should stick around. When it's like, actually, maybe this is your signal that, okay, see what you can glean and learn from the situation if you're being triggered. So a common one with entrepreneurs is, let's say that their boss is almost playing the role of a parental figure that is invalidating. And then that's why many of us may turn to entrepreneurship, where that piece of the puzzle is different, right? So instead of playing out the unhealthy patterns, there's an opportunity to choose a different way that you'd like things to play out.
Right. So you spoke about entrepreneurship, and you mentioned this a couple of times in the last few questions. How can entrepreneurs take advantage of your coaching, both in terms of networking and in terms of the energy matching part or reaching people? Because there are two distinct places, what I understand, you sort of specialize in, right? One is coaching and one is networking. And this is, both these things are important for an entrepreneur.
So my primary focus is as a public speaking coach. So I work with primarily entrepreneurs, but also, I've worked with new PhDs. They have their PhD, they're like, well, now what do I do? Or people who are in the second wave of their career, and maybe they had a successful period in, it could be in sports, it could be in academia, whatever it is, it could be in entrepreneurship. And then they think, but wait, what if I really dug down and stood for something even deeper? Because people can feel when they're on the right path or when they're veering away from it. So sometimes what it can take is someone that you witness, that you see is in alignment, because you can feel that in an audience. When you watch a speaker who is in alignment, it's almost like a permission slip of, wait a second. If not everyone feels the pull towards being a public speaker, but those who do know it, similarly to being an author. And I know that you know about this, where you're like, oh, I'm meant to be an author. So you make it happen.
Because you got so much to tell.
Basically, my story, I'd never planned that. I never was thinking on those lines. Basically, but when the people were seeing the journey, and I was so vocal about it in my networking and on social media, especially LinkedIn, people were asking me so many questions. And since I was telling them, that content got made in my mind, I said, let me serve people in a very formal, official way of writing a book.
And there we have a book, Cell Gears by Khurram, and Confident Introvert by Stephanie. I wonder what you guys would say, knowing me for a little while that you know me. What should the title of my book be?
Am I allowed to say?
Sure.
Start, please.
The Brand.
The Brand.
That will be my name,
Entrepreneur's Choice.
Entrepreneur's Choice. Yeah, and that's what it comes when you talk about firing clients, right? Entrepreneur's Choice.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. It could even be a franchise movie on Hollywood. I like that.
That's a hot topic. We definitely need to dive into your firing of clients from the get-go.
Yeah. See, again, it's all about principle, but that's a conversation for some other time.
Foreshadowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can tell one core principle on what basis you fire customers.
Well, any relationship, be it family, friendship, or financial relationship with customers, clients, whatever. Even if you're a restaurant owner and a customer's there, I'm an agency owner and I have customers. The base for everything is respect. If that element of respect is not there, I think one should not think even for 2 seconds before firing. And I feel it should even be written in contracts. Just like, we have these signs in medical institutes and airports that if somebody misbehaves with the cab driver, it's a felony and it's up to 6 months of imprisonment. Simply, I would want to write that in my contracts, that if a person misbehaves with anyone in my team, I can't, put them in jail, but I can certainly fire them, right? Because again, money would come. It's not the clients that decide who gets paid what. it's your work and it's fate. At a very, very basic level, we are humans. And one thing that every human has a right, a code, and that's respect.
That's a very good principle to have, and I'm 100% aligned with him on this philosophy in my life and my work as well.
And when it comes to respect, so one of the things that I've worked with people on is identifying, how do you define the terms? So I'm curious for you, how you define respect. How do you know when someone's being respectful versus when they're not? Because there's the obvious stuff, like someone, calls someone a name that's not nice, but they're the
name in professional environment, somebody would not call names, right? Then somebody would make it difficult. Knowingly, there would be a sort of a power show that somebody is telling that, hey, I'm the client, I'm paying you, you gotta give this to me by 11 a.m. tomorrow because I have a meeting and you have to do it, or else I will have to take some action. What is that action? What is that action? What is this tantrum supposed to tell me? Is it blackmail? I mean, because there is a certain set number of hours that we are going to give you against the set number of dollars that you are paying me. You can't throw a tantrum or you can't strong arm me into doing something. We are in a creative space. Even if you can't talk to a carpenter, listen, buddy, want a bed ready, right? You've given them the job to make a bed in 5 days. You can't show up on day 3 that, hey, the bed seems like it won't be ready in 5 days. The 5 days are not over. You gotta let me finish, right?
And it doesn't mean that we cannot entertain customer for a special request. We can, but there is a way.
There's a way. It's a mutual relationship, right? The kind of work you do, the kind of work we do, it's mostly very human-centric.
Yeah.
It's very creative. It's coming from the heart than from here, right? And this thing needs loving.
Yes.
Yeah.
TLC.
Something that I learned in my early consumer relations days, where I got all sorts of calls. I was working at a natural snack food company, and people would say the darndest things. It's like, oh, there's glass in the package. It's like, how is that even possible? But instead of calling people out on it, it's like, no, this is an opportunity to validate the emotional experience and to ask, how can this be better? Like what is it that you need? So, a sign of respect is not always agreeing with what everyone says, but knowing that their perspective is valid and worthy of not shoving it under the rug. Leadership done incorrectly is, oh, well, you need to do this because I said so.
Yeah. And you also did some business development or selling for convincing people to come for the research, right?
Yes, I did.
How tough it would have been.
You have to be really rooted in the value that you're offering.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a magic wand, and how would you like to see 1 year, 2 year, 3 year from now, like after settling into New York? What are your big plans and what are you trying to do?
Yeah. Okay. So right now we are 3 weeks into New York. This stint, at least, I've been in New York. I think I told you a few times. So 9 months total. But in the next 3 years, it's easier to conceptualize sometimes. But I can see myself having written and published my 3rd book.
Okay.
In 3 years' time, and I can also see myself as having a sort of partnership with a local college, speaking on the topics of networking and also continuing with public speaking coaching and just allowing my clients to grow more and more and succeed more and more and getting that clarity and getting visible with it.
It's very important because that generation, because of a screen, they're isolating. And that's very important that you tell them the importance of networking and human connection for their future life.
That's what AI can't replace.
It's the most primitive skill to have. Being human. Moving towards the closing of our show, there's always a question that we ask, and I know that you did not watch a full episode as yet, so this question will be a surprise to you. Yes. So the question is, what is the gray matter to you?
Ooh, the gray matter to me, it's the substance of existence. And when I think of, gray matter, we know of the logical term in our brains, but it's also the gray area. It's when things are not black and white, there's a lot of opportunity to meaning make and decide for yourself, okay, is this going to be a setback? Is this going to be an opportunity? And how am I going to work with what I have while holding a greater vision in this gray area where anything is possible?
Cool.
That's a good definition.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Stephanie, thank you very much for being on the show, and best wishes for you, for your future and everything that you do. And thank you once again.
Thank you for coming.
And welcome to New York.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Bye-bye. We can do a bye-bye.